Hi everyone, this is Slash and Cut. Today I'll be bringing you a tutorial on the walking Charlie Chaplin rolls or Charlie Chaplin transfers. I prefer the term walking Charlie Chaplin rolls because I used to call them transfers, but then proper transferring became popular and yeah, it doesn't really suit the trick anymore. So in the video title there will be written walking Charlie Chaplin rolls. Anyways, this trick is very hard to explain. And that's because it requires a lot of feel, there's some muscle memory there, and that's very hard to explain. It comes with practice, it's not something you can just explain. Once you learn how to do this and practice, you will get this feel. On the other hand, I do think I can give a few pointers on how to get started and how to learn this trick more quickly. There are two things you have to pay attention to in my opinion. One is timing, and the second one is finger or hand positioning. Timing is pretty obvious. When exactly do I make the transfer? Pretty obvious, straightforward. And finger placement or hand placement, what I mean by that is how do I hold my hand while doing those transfers. Main thing is you don't want to stumble over your own fingers, because then you will drop the knife. So, well, I'll get to that later in the video. First things first, timing. Remember all those years ago when you learned how to do a Charlie Chaplin roll? Well, at first it was not very logical. The knife would fly off your fingers and you had to learn a certain timing for when to push or give extra momentum to the knife to keep going and going until you could do it just, well, continuously. It's very similar with the transfers. The easiest way to explain is just by doing one rollover, just like this. What you'll notice is the knife will spin. You'll give it momentum. The knife will spin, and once it reached a certain point, it will just fall on its own. And that's a very key moment. So you do a rollover, give momentum, it falls. You kind of still follow it just to catch it, but you see, once you get to past a certain point, the knife will fall, and that's the moment you need. In that moment, when it's falling, that's the time to switch fingers. So if this, let me see if I can get it in frame better. If this is one rollover, this is a transfer. You might give it a slight aerially touch, so you can remove one finger and slip in the other one, but the key thing is to do this in this drop. So give it momentum, switch fingers, let it land on the other finger. I'll repeat myself once more. So roll over, give momentum, let it drop. The transfer is give it momentum and switch fingers. And that's a key thing you have to learn. And it's something you have to do with each finger. So just to get the muscle memory for it, I guess. So you just give it momentum, let it land on the other finger. Same thing from my middle finger to ring finger. Give it momentum, let it land on the other finger. Same thing with ring finger and pinky. Give it momentum, let it land on the other finger. It's very hard to do this in slow motion because it's such a fluent motion, so bear with me on this one. And that's pretty much the key thing to do these transfers, at least vertically. It's the same way moving back up, of course. Give momentum, slip your finger, well, remove your one finger while it is dropping, and replace your other finger. You often see me make a slightly bigger movement. That's because I want to switch my finger in the downward momentum and slip in my other finger and catch it. And that's pretty much what you do for each transfer. I hope I'm staying in frame. And you really have to get a feel for it. I think that's the place where you kind of need the feel for the trick. So once you got that down, once you can do those simple transfers all the way from each finger to the other, you can work on focusing on each transfer. So once you get your well, start off by exaggerating your movement of your Charlie Chaplin rolls. Really got to feel when the knife is dropping, and when it drops, wait, very hard. When it drops, you just switch fingers. And let me see if I can do it a little bit more smoothly. So then I drop my knife, of course. Let me try that again. See, that's how it should look like. This trick is very hard to do slowly, of course, so that's also adds to the difficulty of making this tutorial. So that's the first part, getting the timing right. Just practice that loads, and once you get a feel for that, it's very important. The second thing is finger placement. Very straightforward. When I do a Charlie Chaplin roll with your index, you just focus on not getting your fingers in the way. When you do your transfer, you just imagine, or even just try, how can I do this next rollover without getting any fingers in the way. So when I switch fingers, I just place my middle finger like this. So I start here and just place my middle finger and keep my other fingers spread away, so they're not in the way. You can still keep on rotating. And that's the position for the middle finger. Ring finger is just the same. So go from middle finger to ring finger, just the same. All the fingers are out of the way. I guess this one is the easiest to remember, I guess, shockingly. Same thing with the pinky. Always keep in mind, keep those fingers away. And I usually hold it like this, so keep my fingers away like that. Same thing moving back up. Same thing. I can move up because, look, my fingers are not in the way. If the rotation continues and I just slip this finger in, this one away, I'm back to the ring finger position. Same with the middle finger, same with the index. The thumb is actually very straight, well, way easier because, well, usually it's on a different axis, so your other fingers aren't necessarily in the way. So for your thumb, usually it's a transfer like this. Usually it's a motion like this, and as you can see, all the other fingers aren't really capable of getting in the way. And you have to think about that during each transfer, hand positioning. Make sure your fingers are not in the way, and you have to think about it before you make your transfer, not transfer and then realize, oh, there might be a finger in the way, I'm going to drop your knife. And that's also part of the muscle memory you need to do this trick. Well, that's pretty much my explanation for this one. Those are the pointers I wanted to give. Like I said, it's a very difficult trick to explain, but I hope these tricks and pointers help you out in learning this trick. That was it for this tutorial. Thank you very much, and see you next time.